Is it actually 5 o'clock, Jose? Good evening. This, the 87th meeting of the 71st term of the Baltimore City Council is now called to order. Please turn off all cell phones or put them on vibrate. Tonight's invocation will be led by Reverend Vaughn C. Green of Gethsemane Baptist Church. After the invocation, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scorner. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of waters, that bringeth forth fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like a shaft that the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Our Master and our strong God, we thank you for the privilege to pray, and we invite, and yes, we invoke your presence into this meeting today. We thank you for the city that we represent. We thank you for the great citizens of the city that put their confidence and their faith in the vessels that you are using to provide leadership for this particular city. Now I pray your anointing and your favor and your covering upon them, that you would order their steps and you would provide the direction that they need so that they might lead us in a way where our city would continue to prosper and that your favor would continue to be upon our lives. Now glorify yourself and magnify yourself in all that is said and done during this meeting, during this conference. Bring unity, bring strength, and bring continuation to all that's taking place during this meeting. And we thank you for it now, declaring that it is so because we ask in your name, amen.
Amen. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The clerk will call the roll of the members.
President Young, Scott, Curran, Henry, Spector, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Welsh, Costello, Clark, Reisinger, and Kraft. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Tonight's showcase Baltimore presentation is by Nicholas Rodriguez from the November Project, a group changing lives by getting people to start their day with an early morning group workout across Baltimore City's parks. Thank you.
That's correct. Thank you, Mr. Young. Yeah, this is exciting to be able to talk to you guys about this. As I said, my name's Nick Rodriguez, and I'm from a group called the November Project, which is I'm going to break this down, a grassroots free fitness movement. It's currently in 19 cities across the United States and Canada. And Baltimore was the 7th city, so we're pretty proud of that. We came in with Philadelphia and Indianapolis. And the way November Project works is basically we got this idea, okay? So I'm going to try to tell you about it. We got this idea that fitness in the month of November is difficult because it's cold, it's raining, it's snowing, and nobody wants to go outside. So what do we do if we can't afford a gym, don't want to pay for a gym, or if a gym just isn't for us? Lots of times we don't do anything. So we had this idea that, maybe if we had some friends, okay, we'll get some friends, they'll come to us and we'll hold each other accountable. So that was the first step. And it started originally in Boston. And the way it works is basically we don't say we're a fitness group. We're not a boot camp. We're not CrossFit. We're not any of these things. We're a community of people of all different ranges, all different ages, that basically have come together and decided that we can hold each other accountable. So we have people that have run 2:30 marathons, just crazy marathoners, former NCAA athletes. We also have people that 2 days ago decided, all right, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to make a change. I'm just going to show up. So one of our mantras is just show up. Workouts are free. They're for everybody. And basically, if you can get there, you're going to meet awesome people, and it's going to be a totally different experience than anything you've ever had. We're weatherproof. Remember the polar vortex of 2013? Yeah, we worked out every single day through that. no matter what, polar vortex or not, we were there. So Wednesdays, we meet Rash Field at 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. because we believe starting your day correctly is very important. On Fridays, we're in Patterson Park at 6:30 a.m. because that is the best time of the day. Try the city. Try the city at 6:30 a.m. I promise you. Just come, try it, see what it looks like. It's amazing. The sunrise in Baltimore is pretty good, I promise. Nobody believes me, but if you get there, it's going to be great. So I guess our final point is come. Just try it. It doesn't matter how old you are, if you've never worked out in your life. Come join us. Come meet us. And you know, we're trying to change the city for the better. We're doing these tiny little baby steps. We're creating positivity. We hosted a run called City Glow, where basically in the coldest month of December, we decided, all right, I'm over the fact that it's cold. I'm over the fact that it's snowing. I'm going to put glow sticks on 75 people, and we're going to run through the city, and we're going to hug people, and we're going to hand them glow sticks. Yeah, that's right. We hug early in the morning. Lots of hugging. There's a lot of hugging. So if you're not a hugger, I apologize. But definitely, those are the types of things we're doing, and we want your help. We meet 2 days a week. We'd love to make it a third, and we want it to be accessible. It's free. That's the first part of accessibility, but we want it to be all over the city. We want anybody who can get there, anybody who wants to try it to be able to. So if you have any ideas, if you want to come talk to us, my co-leader, Pat, is over there. He's in some grassroots gear, and we can explain that later if you have any questions. But please, let us know. It's for everybody, I promise. Councilman Mosby knows. He'll be there. Definitely. Come talk to us. We appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nick, and keep up the great work. I'm asking that those who are listening to us on Channel 25, if you need that information, you can contact Nicholas Rodriguez. What's your email address?
It's on, there are cards around here, but November Project Be More.
You can come back up here.
Sorry, yeah. That's probably the best way. November Project Be More is our email address. But we're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, pretty much any social media. We're inventing new social media mediums. Anything that we can get on, we're there. So we'll be using the Tubman on 20 hashtag as well. But definitely come find us, send us a message any way you want, and we'd love to help you try to get there.
All right. Thank you again, Nicholas. It is the council's custom to journalize the invocation. I ask for a motion to journalize the prayer. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holton.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move to journalize this evening's prayer.
Second by Council Vice President Reisinger. All those in favor of journalize the prayer say aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We'll now proceed with the adoption of the journal.
Mr. President, the journal of the proceedings for the March 23rd City Council meeting is on the council members' desks.
Is there a motion to approve the journal? Motion by Councilman Kern, second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of adopting the journal say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The journal is adopted. Bill signed by the mayor can be found on page 2 of the agenda. Executive nominations.
EA 15-0271, Scott J. Richmond, Member Environmental Control Board, 11th District.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 15-0272, Samuel Lamont Curry, Member Environmental Control Board, 3rd District.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 15-0273, Philip Lee, Member Environmental Control Board.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 15-0274, Dr. Jameson Lawrence, Esquire, Member Environmental Control Board.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 15-0275, Jennifer Joy Swanson, Member Anti-Animal Abuse Advisory Committee, 2nd District.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 15-0276, Julianne S. Brown, Member Anti-Animal Abuse Advisory Committee.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee. Bills to be introduced.
City Council Bill 15-0509, Baltimore City Landmark List, Eastern Avenue Pumping Station. Ordinance for the purpose of designating the Eastern Avenue Pumping Station, 751 Eastern Avenue, as a historical landmark. Sponsor Kraft, President Young.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, this bill and the following 2 bills are 3 different properties that are located in southeast Baltimore. The Eastern Pumping Station actually is downtown. Most of us are familiar with that building, and I've introduced this legislation at the request of CHAP, and we'll be moving forward. The John Rura Elementary School is in Greektown. This is an historic school. The school is about 75 years old. It's actually in year 2 of the school construction program. We'll be building essentially a new school there, but we will be building it onto the back of this school, so we will be preserving the historic facade of the school and actually restoring that, putting windows in where they've been bricked up. It's going to be a very exciting project. And finally, historic Patterson Park. As we all well know, Patterson Park, the most used park in the city of Baltimore. It's been undergoing a master plan process for the better part of a year. This will help us in many ways. I know people are concerned about certain buildings in there. They are newer buildings. They won't be affected by this, but this will help us as we try to seek some funds for some of the improvement. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. This bill has been assigned to the Urban Affairs and Aging Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0510, Baltimore City Landmark List, John Rohr Elementary School. John Rohr Elementary Middle School. Ordinance for the purpose of designating John Rohr Elementary Middle School, 701 Rapala Street, as a historical landmark. Sponsor Kraft Scott.
This has been assigned to the Urban Affairs and Aging Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0511, Baltimore City Landmark List, Patterson Park. Ordinance for the purpose of designating Patterson Park in its entirety and all of its existing structures, 100 South Linwood Avenue and 201 South Linwood Avenue, as a historical landmark. Sponsor Kraft Henry.
This has been assigned to the Urban Affairs and Aging Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0512, Baltimore Day. Ordinance for the purpose of declaring August 8th of each year to be Baltimore Day, requiring the mayor to proclaim Baltimore Day on August 8th of each year, and requiring for a special effective date. Sponsor Kraft, President Young, Holton, Henry, Middleton, Costello, Scott, Reisinger, Clark.
Please note Councilman Mosby is a co-sponsor, Councilman Kern as a co-sponsor, Councilman Stokes, and Councilman Welch as co-sponsors. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, this legislation is being introduced at the request of the Greater Baltimore History Alliance, which is a group of all of the historical organizations as well as all the museums here in the city, in conjunction with the Baltimore City Historical Society, celebrating August 8, 1729, the day that the city of Baltimore was founded. It's also part of a plan that those groups are putting together to create a history week in Baltimore City. We'll be moving forward with this bill quickly so that we can have it done for the summer and that project. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. This has been assigned to the Judiciary and Legislative Investigation Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0513, rezoning certain properties in the Sharp-Leadenhall community, Block 0947. Ordinance for the purpose of changing the zoning for certain properties in the Sharp-Leadenhall community, as outlined in blue in the accompanying plat, from the M22 zoning district to the B24 zoning district, as outlined in red in the accompanying plat, from the R7 zoning district to the B24 zoning district, as outlined in green on the accompanying plat, from the M3 zoning district to the B24 zoning district, and as outlined in yellow in the accompanying plat, from the OR3 zoning district to the B24 zoning district. Sponsor Costello.
Chair recognizes Councilman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a zoning change for multiple properties in the Sharp-Leadenhall community to a B24 to facilitate mixed-use development in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee. Resolution to be introduced.
City Council Resolution 15-0216R, Women on 20s. Resolution for the purpose of supporting the efforts of Women on 20s to place a woman's portrait on the $20 bill, casting the City Council's vote for Harriet Tubman as the woman to be featured on the $20 bill, and encouraging the children of Baltimore to participate in the voting process on the Women on 20s website. Sponsor Kraft, President Young, Holton, Henry, Middleton, Costello, Scott, Clark, Reisinger.
Please note Councilman Kern, Councilwoman Spector, Councilman Mosby, Councilman Welch, Councilman Stokes as co-sponsors. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, just a few moments ago, we had a press conference announcing our support for this resolution. This is an exciting program that's starting over the nation. We are in the early days of it, and that program is to put a woman on the $20 bill. There are, at this time, 15 nominees for that. We have asked that we celebrate Harriet Tubman and cast our votes for Harriet Tubman, a woman who is an ideal choice for the $20 bill because of her bravery, her strength, and her deep connections to the city of Baltimore. She was born on the eastern shore of Maryland, from where she escaped a life of slavery at great risk of her own life and freedom, she brought hundreds of slaves along the Underground Railroad. Many times she passed through the city of Baltimore to bring them safely to the North. She found safety and shelter here in many of these journeys. We honor her today by selecting her as our candidate to be the woman placed on the $20 bill. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to go to Women on 20s, WOMENON20s.org, and cast your vote for Harriet Tubman to get on the $20 bill. We want this sent to the President of the United States. He has the ability to make this decision. Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules for immediate adoption.
Before you move to suspend the rules, can you give out that address again?
It is Women on 20s, WOMENON20s.org, O-R-G. Please go there and cast your vote for Harriet Tubman, Baltimore City's candidate for Women on 20s, so we can send our message to the President of the United States that she is our candidate and we want her there.
It's been seconded by Councilman Kern. All those in favor of suspending the rules for immediate adoption of this resolution, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorably.
Second by Councilman Kern. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 15-0216R, say aye. Those opposed, nay. Huh? Somebody said something? Okay, this motion carried. This resolution is adopted. Councilman Kraft, I want to thank you on behalf of the Jones families, who was members of United Baptist Church, who are relatives of Harriet Tubman. So this is very dear to us. Desi, you know that, right? Yeah. So thank you for recognizing Harriet Tubman, and we're hoping that we can get her on that $20 bill. Thank you.
City Council Resolution 15-0217R, Civic Youth Engagement Month. Resolution for the purpose of recognizing this month of April as Youth Civic Engagement Month in Baltimore and calling on youth and civic leaders throughout the city to take this opportunity to examine how young people can be brought deeper into government planning, decision-making, problem-solving, and all civic matters. Sponsor Scott, President Young, Holton, Kraft, Henry, Middleton, Costello, Clark, Reisinger.
Please note that Councilman Stokes, Councilman Welch, Councilman Mosley, and Councilman Kern as co-sponsors. Chair recognizes Councilman Scott.
Thank you, Mr.
And
President.
Councilman Spector as a co-sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, members of the council, this resolution is being introduced on behalf of the Baltimore City Youth Commission. They are asking us to celebrate April as Youth Civic Engagement Month each year in the city of Baltimore. It's a month where they are undergoing efforts to get youth more civically engaged. We all know, again, as we were discussing last week, we had the resolution about youth involvement in community associations, but this is on a broader scale where they're trying to make efforts for young people to be more involved in everything involving our community. We know that young people bring great ideas and great work ethic and great things for our city, but this is a way to recognize that each and every year. And Mr. President, I move suspension of the rules for immediate adoption.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of suspending rules for immediate adoption of this resolution, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Councilman Scott.
Mr. President, I move bill favorable.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 15-0217R, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. This resolution is adopted.
City Council Resolution 15-0218R, U.S. Veg Week, April 20 through 26. Resolution for the purpose of recognizing the week of April 20 through the 26th, 2015 as U.S. Veg Week, and encouraging residents, restaurants, schools, grocery stores, organizations, and other institutions to join public officials in choosing and offering a greater variety of vegetarian foods. Sponsor Mosby, President Young, Holton, Kraft, Henry, Middleton, Costello, Scott, Clark, Reisinger.
Please note Councilman Kern is co-sponsor, Councilwoman Spector is a co-sponsor, Councilman Welch and Councilman Stokes as co-sponsors. Chair recognizes Councilman Mosby.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. Last week we talked about children and the sugary drinks that have been part of their nutrition for quite some time and how it's negatively impacting their health. This week we're going to talk about the Veg Pledge. As you know, we do a 7 Get Fit in the 7th District, and thanks to the November Project for coming out and presenting today. But this resolution calls for a veg pledge. I took it last year. It's actually only for 7 days, but I did it for 12 before I caved into some meat. But it's from April the 20th through the 26th, 2015. This week encourages people to explore the many benefits of vegetarian eating by taking a 7-day veg pledge to be healthy and save the environment, protect farm animals, and eat a ton of tasty food. After our council hearing on the 20th, there will actually be a small taste test of vegetarian food, just so we can experience it and explore it. So thank you to my colleagues for signing on to this resolution.
You can move to.
Actually, at this point, Council President and colleagues, I put a motion in for immediate adoption.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of suspended rules for immediate adoption of this resolution say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Councilman Mosby.
At this time, Council President, I ask that we move forward for a motion to adopt it.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of adopting resolution 15-0218R say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. This resolution is adopted.
City Council Resolution 15-0219R, informational hearing, changes to the City of Baltimore Deferred Compensation Plan, resolution for the purpose of requesting the Department of Finance, the Employees Retirement System, and the Labor Commissioner to report to the City Council on the changes being made to the City of Baltimore's Deferred Compensation Plan, the effects the changes to this plan will have on the 9,600 participants and the more than $350 million in assets currently held in the plan, the current outreach efforts and outcomes of those outreach efforts, and the plans to continue outreach over the coming months. Sponsor Young, Holton, Kraft, Henry, Middleton, Costello, Scott, Clark, Reisinger.
Please note Councilman Henry, Councilman Mosby, Councilman Welch as co-sponsors. This resolution calls, I said Councilman Kern? I meant Kern. Okay. This resolution called for a hearing on the significant changes to the deferred compensation plan. An explanation of the changes, how the 9,600 plan participants are being informed of the changes, and how information about the changes will be communicated as they're rolled out. As most of you know, deferred compensation is another tool and another way for us to save extra money for our retirement. And there are some major changes that they're rolling out. And I think that we need to have that conversation so that we'll know exactly what to expect and how it would affect our future retirement savings. So this has been assigned to the Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee, and I'm going to ask the chair to try to schedule a hearing as soon as possible because these changes taking effect, you can opt out, but I think after May, I forgot the date, early May, that these changes would take place automatic.
City Council Resolution 15-0220R, informational hearing, cleaner streets, resolution for the purpose of requesting that representatives from the Department of Public Works and other city agencies working to make Baltimore cleaner appear before the council to discuss the city's plan for cleaner streets and neighborhoods, the current results of the plan, and what additional steps can be taken to progress towards a cleaner Baltimore. Sponsor Holton, President Young, Kraft, Henry, Middleton, Costello, Scott, Reisinger.
Please note Councilman Kern is co-sponsor, Councilman Welch as a co-sponsor. Chair recognize Councilwoman Holton.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to thank my colleagues who co-sponsored this resolution. And this is one of those things we do from time to time to inform the public, to educate and inform ourselves, to understand policies and processes put in place, how they're going to work. And I know many of us were here when the rollout occurred about the city undertaking an effort to sweep 90% of the streets in Baltimore City. Well, I just know lately when I look around, and people are stopping me on the street and they're wondering, what's happening? Why aren't the streets cleaner? And so this is an opportunity for Department of Public Works and whatever other agencies, Department of Transportation, and I know that they have some interagency work that they're doing to make our streets safer, cleaner, all of those things. So an opportunity for all of us to understand exactly what the processes are, how they're working, and how citizens can better be informed as to when it's happening in their neighborhood so that they're on watch for it. So I look forward to us having an educational and informational hearing. I remember when Kathy Hughes started Radio 1, one of the things she used to always say is that information is power. And this is informing us in a way to be powerful at better understanding how we each can play a part in keeping our streets cleaner. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been assigned to the Judiciary and Legislative Investigation Committee.
City Council Resolution 15-0221R, congratulating Jim Scales on his retirement from Baltimore City Government. Resolution for the purpose of celebrating the laudable career of Jim Scales, thanking him for his unwavering commitment to public service upon his retirement from Baltimore City Government, and wishing him many years of continued happiness as he spends more time with his husband, Bill Taskers. Sponsor, President Young.
Can I say all members? All members. Thank you. After more than 40 years of public service, Jim Scales is retiring. Mr. Scales spent his first years working with DPW and the last 29 years serving under 6 administrations here in City Hall. I would like to thank him for his hard work and dedication to the city of Baltimore and to his citizens, and thank you for serving us in this council at many, many mayor's lunch. We want you to have a great retirement, and we wish you the best. And you're always welcome to come back to City Hall at any time. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger. I'm gonna give everybody a chance after we get it moved.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules for immediate adoption.
Second by Councilwoman Holton. All those in favor of suspending the rules for immediate adoption of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the resolution favorable.
Second by Councilwoman Holton. All those in favor of adopting resolution 15-0221R, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. This resolution is adopted. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Spector.
Mr. President, members of the council, you have to remind Jim Scales, bring lunch.
We'll do that. I move to suspend the rules so that we can allow Jim Scales to take the floor. Second by Councilman Kern. All those in favor of suspending the rules to allow Jim Scales to come onto the floor of the council, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carried. Council Vice President Reisinger, I would like for you to present Jim Scales with a resolution and also with a gift from the council. Come on, Jim. Okay. Council resolution congratulating Jim Scales on his retirement from Baltimore City government. For the purpose of celebrating the laudable career of Jim Scales, thanking him for his unwavering commitment to public service upon his retirement from Baltimore City government, and wishing him many years of continued happiness as he spend more time with his husband, Bill Tasker. It is with marked sadness that the City Council acknowledges that this month it will say goodbye to one of the most respected and longest-serving employees to work for Baltimore City. More than 40 years ago, Jim Scales began his tenure in Baltimore City government. The first 13 years were spent with the Department of Public Works, and then a one-day personal loan of Jim to City Hall turned into a remarkable 29 years in City Hall. Jim Scales served under 6 administrations: William Donald Schaefer, Clarence Duburns, Kurt Smoke, Martin O'Malley, Sheila Dixon, and Stephanie Rollins Blake. His office in City Hall served as an unofficial time capsule of the past 3 decades. Pictures, news articles, memorabilia, knickknacks, you name it. It is rumored that there actually was a desk and computer in there. Jim leaves City Hall with many stories and memories, but none can top his history-making marriage to Bill Tasker in 2013. They were the first same-sex couple to take vows in the state of Maryland. The city of Baltimore owes Jim a tremendous debt of gratitude for his unwavering commitment to public service in City Hall. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Baltimore that the council hereby express its appreciation to Jim Scales, thanking him for his unwavering commitment to public service upon his retirement from Baltimore City government. that a copy of this resolution be sent to the mayor, Jim Scales and family, and the mayor's legislative liaison to the city council. Again, congratulations. Again, congratulations, Jim. We wish you the best. You can find the consent calendar in Section A at the back of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? Motion by Councilman Scott, second by Councilwoman Middleton. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar say aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carried. This calendar is approved. We'll now move the bills on second reader, Judiciary and Legislative Investigation Committee.
City Council Bill 12-0111, Charter Amendment Vetoes, ordinance for the purpose of modifying the vote by which the council may override a mayoral veto, repealing the mayoral authority to veto items of appropriation, and submitting this amendment to the qualified voters of the city for adoption or rejection.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, this bill was heard on last Tuesday. Actually, it was heard some time ago. We voted on it last Tuesday, March 24th. Mr. President, this bill is a bill that would actually send this matter to the voters of the city of Baltimore to make a determination as to how many votes of the council it would take to override a veto of a mayor. Presently, our charter requires that there be 3/4 of the members of the council to override the veto of a mayor. This charter amendment would reduce that from 3/4 to 2/3. Mr. President, in the 50 states of this union, the veto override requires a 2/3 vote or less. In the 25 largest cities in the United States, the veto override requires 2/3 or less in 23 of those 25 cities. And when we look at the major counties around us, when you look at the percentages, they are similar. Mr. President, there is absolutely no reason that the city of Baltimore should not be standing shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the states in this union and the 23 of the 25 major cities in this nation by having a veto override established at 2/3 rather than 3/4. Finally, Mr. President, this charter amendment, this bill does not have the city council change this veto number. All it does, it says, we, the city council, send this to the voters of the city of Baltimore, asking them to decide what number they would like it to be. 3/4, where less than 5% of these jurisdictions in the country, or 2/3 with 95%. Mr. President, this bill passed favorably out of the committee. We move it favorably at this time.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. All opposed, nay. Nays have it. This bill fails.
City Council Bill 15-0484, Motor Fuel Sales, Air Pumps, ordinance for the purpose of repealing a requirement that motor fuel service station provide patrons with free use of air pumps for tire inflation.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Mr. President, this bill was heard this past Tuesday, March 24th. There is an amendment on the member's desk. I would move the amendment at this time.
Second by Councilwoman Spector. All those in favor of approving the amendment say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The amendments are adopted. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Move the bill favorably as amended.
Second by Councilwoman Spector. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader. Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 14-0414, Plant Unit Development, Amendment 1, Johns Hopkins, south of Orleans, ordinance for the purpose of approving certain amendments to the development plan of the Johns Hopkins, south of Orleans Plant Unit Development.
Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the finding of the facts.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving the finding of facts say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The finding of facts are adopted. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, there's no amendments to this bill. I move the bill favorable.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 14-0419, zoning conditional use conversion of a two-family dwelling unit to a four-family dwelling unit in the R8 zoning district, 100 South Stricker Street. Ordinance for the purpose of permitting, subject to certain conditions, the conversion of a two-family dwelling unit to a four-family dwelling unit in the R8 zoning district on the property known as 100 South Stricker Street, as outlined and read in the accompanying plat.
Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the finding of facts.
Second by Councilman Welch. All those in favor of approving the finding of facts say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve the finding of facts is adopted. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, the amendments are on my colleague's desk. I move the amendments.
Second by Councilman Welch. All those in favor of approving the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The amendments are adopted. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Welch. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader. Please note that Councilman Kraft abstains.
City Council Bill 14-0431, zoning conditional use conversion of a one-family dwelling unit to a two-family dwelling unit in the R8 zoning district. Variances 2125 Orleans Street. Ordinance for the purpose of permitting, subject to certain conditions, the conversion of a one-family dwelling unit to a two-family dwelling unit in the R8 zoning district on the property known as 2125 Orleans Street, as outlined and read in the accompanying plat, and granting variances from certain lot area sizes and off-street parking requirements.
Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the finding of facts.
Second by Councilman Branch. Second by, he's not even here. Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving the finding of facts say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The finding of facts are adopted. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, the amendments are on my colleague's desk. I move the amendments.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving the amendment say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The amendments are adopted. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader. Please note that Councilman Kraft abstains.
City Council Bill 14-0435, zoning conditional use conversion of a one-family dwelling unit to a three-family dwelling unit in the R8 zoning district, 2437 Madison Avenue. Ordinance for the purpose of permitting, subject to certain conditions, the conversion of a one-family dwelling unit to a three-family dwelling unit in the R8 zoning district on the property known as 2437 Madison Avenue, as outlined and read in the accompanying plat.
Chair recognizes Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the finding of facts.
Second by Councilman Mosby. All those in favor of approving the finding of facts say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve the finding of facts are adopted. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, there's no amendments to this bill. I move the bill favorable.
Second by Councilman Mosby. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader. Please note that Councilman Kraft abstains. Urban Affairs and Aging Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0474, Waterfront Management District and Waterfront Management Authority, renewal through April 23rd, 2019. Ordinance for the purpose of renewing and continuing the Waterfront Management District and Waterfront Management Authority, providing for a special effective date and generally relating to the activities and authority of the Waterfront Management District and Waterfront Management Authority.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee met last Thursday, March 26, 2015, to consider this bill. We heard testimony about the good work being done by the authority, the work that they're doing now and in the future. And the committee voted unanimously to extend the authority for another 4 years. There are no amendments, and I move the resolution favorable.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader. Oh, you wanted to say something, Councilwoman? Chair recognizes Councilwoman Spector.
I really appreciate the work of the chair on this. Councilwoman Holton and I are the representatives to the waterfront management, and they do, and we couldn't afford to pay them, Mr. President, and members of the council, for all that they offer and improve the Inner Harbor, and that they are doing enormous projects, big bucks. They save the city.
Thank you. Third reader for final passage.
City Council Bill 14-0444, zoning, sign regulations, sponsor of road signs, ordinance for the purpose of exempting from the zoning code sign regulations certain signs posted by or on behalf of the city to acknowledge business entities or other persons sponsoring a street maintenance services program. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Kern, Henry, Spector, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Walsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 15-0481, transit and traffic, impeding traffic by school grounds, ordinance for the purpose of increasing the fine without requiring a prior warning for vehicles that park, stop, or stand in a manner that obstructs or impedes the free flow of traffic by school grounds during certain hours, clarifying, correcting, and conforming related language, and generally relating to imposition of fines for obstructing or impeding the free flow of vehicular or pedestrian traffic.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you. Mr. President, before we vote on this, I just want to remind all of my colleagues, this vote, after we vote on this will go to the mayor. This bill will be signed and will be in effect when our children come back from school after the spring break. The effect of this bill is the following. It suspends the 15-minute rule on block faces surrounding our schools. Now, we've made contact and we've sent contact to the school board, to the Board of Education so that they can pass this information on to their respective schools. But I would remind my colleagues, if you haven't had an opportunity to do this, to please notify your schools, because what this allows for the police, the school police, the transportation enforcement officers to do is to ticket the cars immediately. Presently, they cannot do that under the 15-minute rule. They have to give a notice, and then people have 15 minutes to move the car. Under this, those folks who have been leaving their cars running into the school, leaving the car abandoned, whatever, have not been able to be ticketed. They will get ticketed now. It is a $252 ticket. So this bill was introduced at the request of many of our school principals, the school police, the police department, also that we could get this thing and solve this problem. We believe once folks realize that this is going to be enforced, that they will stop doing this. But we do want everybody to have that notice so they can pass this on. Thank you, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Spector.
Mr. President, members of the council, I do want to commend the chair also for speedily getting this bill through the pipeline and on third reader. And as he said, it would probably be enforced as soon as the kids go back to school. I only wanted to mention that this enforced period is peak time, school time, in the morning and in the afternoon. It's not 24/7. 7 to 9, 2 to 5. It also applies to public schools, private schools, and parochial schools. And I know for a fact, empirically, you only get towed once, you'd only get one ticket. That would cure you for the rest of your lifetime. So please, as the chair said, get that message to everyone. This ticket can be cited by the police department, the school police, and the parking authority. Everybody is loaded for bear to do this. It's the safety of our students.
Thank you.
President Young, Kraft, Scott, Kern, Henry, Spector, Middleton, Mosby, Holton, Walsh, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Clark.
This bill is approved. Committee announcements. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Clark.
Mr. President, members of the committee, the council, the Education and Youth Committee will meet on April 16th at 4 p.m. in these chambers to consider City Council Resolution 15-0213R. That is an informational hearing on sugar-free kids, introduced by our colleague Councilman Nick Mosby. Come one, come all. By the end of April, we are going to be very skinny if we're kids in Baltimore. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. President. Executive appointments will hold a hearing on Wednesday, April 8th, 2015, 10 a.m. in council chambers to hear nominees for the Environmental Control Board, Council Bill 150271, Scott J. Richmond, member from the 11th District. Council Bill 150272, Samuel Lamont Curry, member of the 3rd District. Council Bill 150273, Philip Lee, member. And Council Bill 150274, Dr. Jameson Lawrence Esquire, as a member. We will also hear nominees for membership in the Anti-Animal Abuse Advisory Committee. Council Bill 150275, Jennifer Joy Swanson as a member from the 2nd District, and Council Bill 150276, Julian S. Brown as a member. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, the Land Use and Transportation Committee will hold a hearing on Bill 15-0473 on Wednesday, April the 29th at 1 p.m. in the council chambers. This is a rezoning at 31 through 35 North Fulton Avenue. The committee will also hold a hearing on Bill 15-0468 Wednesday, April 29th at 1:05 p.m. in the council chambers. This is a zoning conditional use restaurant drive-in located at 5960 through 5980 Belair Road. Mr. President, I move for suspension of rules 10-2 and 10-3.
Second by Councilman Kraft. All those in favor of suspended rules to announce a hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, the committee will hold a hearing on Bill 15-0478 on Wednesday, May the 13th at 1 p.m. in the council chambers. This is a rezoning of 801 through 809 Eastern Avenue. Mr. President, I move for suspension of rules of 10-2 and 10-3.
Second by Councilman Kraft. All those in favor of suspended rules to announce a hearing, say aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, the committee will hold a hearing on 15-0505 on Wednesday, May the 20th at 1 p.m. in the council chambers. This is a rezoning located at 5601 Eastern Avenue. Yeah. I thought I said it all.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Middleton. Oh, you got.
How about I got one more?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was wondering what you were doing.
Okay.
Mr.
Mr. President, I move for suspension of rules 10-2 and 10-3.
Second by Councilman Kraft. All those in favor of suspended rules announce a hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, the committee will hold a hearing on Bill 15-0506 on Wednesday, May 20th at 1:05 p.m. in the council chambers. This is a plan unit development designation located at 5601 Eastern Avenue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Urban Affairs and Aging Committee will hear two bills on April 30th, 2015. The first bill at 4 p.m. is City Council Bill 150485, and again, it's at 4 p.m., and it's the Urban Renewal Sharp-Leadenhall Amendment. And also on April 30th, City Council Bill 15-0472 at 4:10 p.m. here in council chambers. It's the Urban Renewal Franklin Square Amendment.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to suspend the appropriate rules to announce the hearing.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of suspending the rules to announce a hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
The Judiciary and Legislative Investigations Committee will conduct a hearing on Council Bill 150214R on Monday, April 13th, 2015 at 5 p.m. here in the council chambers. Council oversight hearing, city stat changes. This will be televised on Charm TV 25. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Scott. You're next, Bobby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. President, members of the council, the Public Safety Committee will hold a hearing on Council Bill 130136R on Tuesday, May the 5th at 4 p.m. here in the council chambers. Hearing will be on the death of Tyrone West in police custody. This is an ongoing thing the council has been doing periodically, receiving updates from the police department. On Wednesday, May 20th, 2015 at 5 p.m. here in the council chambers, the City Council Public Safety Committee will hold a hearing on Council Bill 150208R, the I Pledge, for the purpose of inviting the Police Commission and community leaders from the 13th District to appear before the council to discuss the establishment of a pilot partnership between the police and the community to improve neighborhood conditions through the I Pledge campaign. On Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2015, at 4 p.m. here in the council chambers, the City Council Public Safety Committee will hold a legislative oversight hearing on the new police schedule and staffing program. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Chair recognizes Councilman Kern.
Mr. President, the Health Committee of Baltimore City Council will meet on Tuesday, April 28th, 2015 at 1 o'clock in Dew Burns Chambers of Hero City Council. Ordinance 15-0475. Drug paraphernalia and smoking aids commercial display to minors is for the purpose of prohibiting the commercial display of certain drug paraphernalia and smoking aids to minors, defining a certain term, clarifying and conforming related provisions, and generally relating to drug paraphernalia and smoking aids as at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, April 28th in Dew Burns Chambers.
Thank you. We're on regular announcements. I would like to wish Council Vice President Ed Reisinger a happy birthday. And also Councilman Brandon Scott a happy birthday. You're getting older, boy. Okay. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Clark.
Thank you. Mr. President and members, I would ask tonight your prayers as we end this session for a little girl named Azari, who died yesterday morning in that tragic fire on the 500 block of East 26th Street in really the Harwood community, right off of Greenmount Avenue. This is a very short block right off Greenmount Avenue, and it actually leads into the old Olds envelope plant. So I didn't know that this had happened until the end of the day, and I knew that if I drove over there right away, because of the kind of neighborhood it is, somebody would be out. I could see members of the family, and sure enough, that's what happened. I drove over, and a couple of young men had been engaged in trying to rescue people from the fire, and then we met together with other neighbors who were there. This is a tragedy. They did all the right things. They had smoke alarms. They were operational, but these are Victorian houses, kind of standalone, and basically it just went up so fast, the fire reportedly when it started, and the father was able to get the two 8-month-old twin girls. He got them out of the house. The neighbor across the street took them. They both ran back to try to get the little girl, but it was too late. It was the house, the ceiling had fallen in, and they couldn't get through the flames to get to her. This is a family. I mean, this whole block is a family. And this is a family. Eleanor Barnes is the grandmother. She's out at Bayview now, but I think she's doing well, considering the loss. She climbed out a window and sat on the roof of her porch, and her other granddaughter wouldn't leave the roof when the neighbor climbed up until grandmother was out and safe herself. So it's the grandmother and her two adult sons there, both in the hospital but doing all right now. And then her granddaughter and fiance are the parents of the little girl, the 3-year-old, and the twins. So please pray for them. It's a lovely neighborhood. It's a lovely family. And we're going to need some help. They have nothing. No one has anything left at all. I would also like to mention the passing of a wonderful, handsome, lovely gentleman named Leroy McLean, who is the love of Daisy McLean's life in the Chum community, Coldstream Homestead, Montebello community. They were madly in love with each other through all these many, many years, lived right there in a lovely, lovely home. He's such a lovely man, and he suffered a lot, and Daisy was right by his side for months now while he went through all kinds of medical problems. He's in a better place, but the family is really devastated by his loss. Leroy McLean. Yes, pardon me, I forgot to give you his name. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Spector. Anybody else had any announcement of it?
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to make an announcement for the Democratic State Central Committee, Mr. President. The Baltimore City Democratic State Central Committee is presently accepting resumes to fill for one regular position on the State Central Committee from the 41st Legislative District. To apply, one must be a current registered Democratic voter of the state of Maryland, a resident of the 41st Legislative District, and applicants must be at least 18 years of age. Resumes for consideration must be postmarked no later than Saturday, April the 11th, 2015. All resumes must be sent to our Miss Angela Gibson, 41st District Chair, Baltimore City Democratic State Central Committee, Post Office Box 23762, Baltimore, Maryland 21203, 5762. Interviews will be held on Thursday, April 16th, 2015 at the Forest Park Senior Center, 4801 Liberty Heights Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland 21207. Beginning at 6 p.m., applicants will be notified of their specific interview times. If you have any questions, please be in touch with Angela. The number is 410-917-5151. I also would ask that we have a moment of silence, Mr. President, and members of the council, for just a great dynamic gal, Carol Seibel. She was such an asset to Baltimore City and to the community, and we were lucky to have her not long enough. She was very, very ill and lost her battle on Friday to lung cancer. So I would appreciate if we have a moment of silence for Carol Seibel.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Brandon Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, members of the council, this past Saturday, as a board member, I had the opportunity to attend the College Bound Foundation seminar for rising freshmen about the changes in NCAA rules and regulations when it comes to the classes that our young people take in order for those athletes, our scholar athletes, to participate in NCAA sports. This is an issue that is hot across the country, and I will ask that anyone who can hear my voice to do their research on this issue, because the requirements are changing, and if the kids are not taking core classes that are counted by the NCAA, we can have many young people who can attend college and get scholarships for their athletic abilities, not get them simply because they've been overlooked by them, their parents, their counselors, their teachers who may not know about these rule changes. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Reisinger.
Mr. President, the next meeting of the City Council will be held on Monday, April 20th at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. And I ask for a moment of silence for Azari Williams, Mr. Leroy McLean, and Carol Seibel.
Thank you. There have been no further business. This concludes the 86th meeting of the 71st term of the Baltimore City Council. Good night.